Previously on Town Hall 10 Free to Play, we put down the Archer Queen for upgrade, and I also mentioned this. So, I mean, it's just like this over and over and over again, and it fluctuates. It's in Gold League, it's in Crystal League, it's in High Crystal League. It really doesn't matter where you farm as a Town Hall 10. So far, I've been in multiple different leagues. Today, I want to explain why Gold League is the best farming location for new Town Hall 10s. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Joe, and welcome back for episode 8 of the Town Hall 10 free-to-play series. This is that series where we took a max Town Hall 6 over the course of the last 7 months, and we've gotten all the way to Town Hall 10. Now, we are exactly 2 weeks into Town Hall 10, and if you're new to the series, we've been working mostly on our offense. As you can see, we have not jumped into upgrading our defenses. In the last episode, we talked about stealing massive dark elixir and putting it into our heroes, and as you can see, we got a day and 5 hours remaining on our Archer Queen. However, the Barb King is back up and ready to be upgraded yet again. So you might as well assume that I'm going to designate 2 of those builders out of the 5 that I have towards upgrading those heroes. And I plan to keep them down all the way to level 40. I know that's a heck of a grind and it's going to take a couple of weeks to do so, but that is the plan right now. We've also maxed out all of our army camps, and we have our 3rd barracks finishing up in the next day, and we will have 1 more remaining. And then we'll also have the bowlers available in the upcoming 5 hours. So we've been quite busy on beefing up our offense, and we've been working through multiple strategies through farming. We've been trying to do a little bit of base development before starting out on these defenses. Today's episode is incredibly important because I want to express to you my findings and overall assessment as I move through Crystal League down to Gold League. In the last episode, I was up in Crystal 2, and then we did a stream later that night, and we dropped all the way down to Gold 2. And what I've found so far is that Gold League is by far the best location to farm for new Town Hall 10s. And I say new because you have weak troops like I do. You got level 1 miners or level 2 miners, or you have lower level Town Hall 9 troops, and you've just gone into Town Hall 10 and you're trying to find a location that is easy to farm and you don't have to battle it out versus those higher level defenses. And that is what the difference is between Crystal League and Gold League. Crystal League has a lot of dead loot as well, but a lot of the defenses are maxed out on those bases, making it incredibly challenging to clear those bases and steal all of their loot. So down here in Gold League, what I've found is a lot of the bases are like this right here. As a matter of fact, not a ton of loot, but you'll notice that it is a Town Hall 9 and it is very rushed to a degree. We got Town Hall 8 defenses, we got expos, but it's not very much developed. And so this is where the loot is incredibly easy to find. You're also going to notice that I have been using a different army from the previous episodes. We've been using P.E.K.K.A.s and Goblins and Barch, but this time around we are using about 40 of the miners as well as some heal spells to basically move through the bases and clear them very easily. Now, some of you might feel against this because you could be feeling like you're bullying, but when you're farming, do you really feel like you're doing a bad thing by stealing their loot anyways? It doesn't really matter what Town Hall level they are as long as they have a ton of loot sitting there. I have no problems dropping down and hitting a Town Hall 9 that has a ton of loot sitting there and available, and I do apologize if you are a Town Hall 9, but that is the reality of global raids. And so we got this base right here that's very nice. It's got a ton of dark elixir, not a lot of gold and elixir on it, and I will end up passing it, but this is something that you would find down here. So I'm going to find a base real quick, and I will be right back. All right, so for instructional purposes, we're going to stop on this base right here, and I did have to next a little bit to find this base. So don't be like thinking that every single base is going to be a dead base down here in Gold League, because there's a lot of players that do actually farm down here, and they are very much alive. So we're going to put this miner army into action, and I'm going to put the Barb King down while I still have him available before we upgrade him yet again, and we're going to use him for some funneling purposes. The thing about miners is that you need to make sure that you funnel a little bit. Don't drop your entire army in one place and think that they're going to basically clear the entire base, because that is not necessarily what's going to happen. So we are going to use a heal spell in this location to allow this group to funnel a little bit, and we're going to use our King's ability to clear out some more buildings before we release the main group of our miners over here back behind him. We want to ensure that we try to keep our miners as tightly together as possible, because once they spread out, they do become weaker and they are not able to be healed, and we try to stay with the main group with our heal spells. So we're going to drop a heal spell here, and I'm going to drop one up in this location because they should be progressing forward into the Archer Tower and the Air Defense, but we also have to deal with Expos and the Inferno Tower, so they are a bit of a problem. They are set to single target mode, and we'll talk about the modes in the Inferno Towers in the upcoming weeks once we build them, because the single target mode is incredibly strong, yes, but it is not necessarily the catch-all for every single troop. The Inferno Towers on single target mode are really designed to shut down the golems and the P.E.K.K.A.s, and then when you transition into the multi-target, they're really designed to stop, big groups like this. Now you'll see that the Expos did assist with shutting down our group of miners here, but we were able to clear a lot of the base. We only missed out on a little bit of the loot, and this is basically a little bit stronger of a base that we want to find. We want to find one that is completely dead and not 100% alive like this one was, but you can see that we pulled away with about 500,000 gold and 381,000 elixir, as well as 2,772 dark elixir. Not a bad pull. Now quickly, I must show you the repercussions of using a mass miner army and winning every single raid, and you could be pushed back up into Crystal League, and that's quite unfortunate for what I'm trying to do. I'm after the loot. That is my main goal. Steal massive amounts of loot, and we unfortunately moved back up into Crystal League doing it. So what I'm going to end up doing is transitioning back into a Barch army and pushing back down, or actually dropping back down into Gold 2, and then I'll start using the miner army again to push back up into Crystal League. It's just a method on how I do it and how I steal lots and lots of loot without getting 100% bored. In addition to this information, I am also a show me and prove to me type of guy. You got to prove to me the information you're telling me right now, and this is what Gold League has been providing us this morning. So you'll notice that all of our raids are within the last 2 to 4 hours, and we've been going non-stop using the gems to boost our barracks. That way we can generate these miners as quickly as possible that the game will allow us to do, and you're going to notice that the loot has been very consistent, very high all the way through. Now, not every single base is a 3-star, some are high percentage 2-stars, but overall the loot is what we're after. And I want you to take a look at this bad boy right here that I found. Over 1 million loot on both gold and elixir. Now, I was only able to steal about 900,000 gold, but the elixir and the gold on this base was absolutely incredible, as well as the dark elixir. There was like 7,000 dark elixir available. So we used our miners in a method to basically sweep one side of the base, set the funnel, and send the main group through the core. You can basically spread them out, or you can time them differently. Drop a small group for a little bit of funneling on one side, and then drop the main group to use your heal spells to carry them through the other side. But with this base, you notice that this base was incredibly rushed. A lot of Town Hall 8 defenses, a lot of Town Hall 9 defenses. You got some Town Hall 10 defenses, but not every single defense was maxed out. And that is exactly what Gold League provides for us. An easier base to hit with a lower weighted offense. Is that what we're dealing with right now? We are dealing with weak troops, so we need weak bases to hit. That way we can gain the loot necessary to upgrade to max. That's where we're trying to go with this Town Hall 10 series. Go through those hard stuff in the beginning. That way we can have fun later on with the higher level stuff. And so we were able to sweep through this base with our level 2 miners. We're not using any power potions or any hero potions. We're strictly using exactly what we have available to us. And I'm going to speed this one up. That way you can see the end and the actual results of this base. Now, notice the miners, they do spread out. They get picked off by the defenses, and they get incredibly weak over time. But they were able to steal a bulk of the loot off of this base. Over 1 million elixir and almost 1 million gold. Absolutely phenomenal raid. And we did get that 7,000 dark elixir. And to finish this video up, we're going to do one more raid to finish us out in Crystal League, or actually in Gold League. We're on that threshold between Crystal and Gold, and we're finding bases on both sides of the fence. Now, I will be switching over to a Barch army after this raid in order to drop back down, but I'm not going to record that because Barch is pretty self-explanatory. Now, the reason behind trying not to hit alive bases is the fact that there could be clan castle troops that will ultimately wreck a raid, and we don't necessarily want that to happen. But we're going to use some miners over here and our Barb King to do a little bit of funneling and try to clear out some bases. We do have to deal with alive Expos here and alive Inferno Towers, and there's absolutely no telling if there's going to be a troop inside the clan castle. I really don't know yet. And there's really nothing you can do to stop them when you're using armies like this, because the Electro Dragons, the balloons, they absolutely wreck the miners. They just cannot stop them. So we've lost a lot of our miners up here in the top side of the base. We're going to go ahead and start sweeping through using our heal spells wisely. I don't necessarily want to use all of my heal spells, but if I have to and try to grab as much loot as I possibly can, I will. The thing is that the heal spell also costs us elixir, and we're trying to reserve and save some of the elixir and not spend all of it, because we want to do wall pieces, we want to upgrade other things in our laboratory, and I'm trying to keep a very close eye on the timelines there on what's available in the lab and when things are going to be finishing. So let's go ahead and drop a heal spell for these miners here. That's where the main group actually happened to go. They were caught on some skeletons from a skeleton trap, and now they've taken down the town hall. So we will get the win yet again, but we're also trying trying to power through and grab as much of the resources as possible. And this will start to get a little bit better as we upgrade our miners to level 3. They have a few days to go before those are actually complete, and then we have a few more days before we can actually get the heal spell upgraded to level 7. That is what's next in our upgrade priority list, and we've already talked about that briefly on the direction that I'm going to go with those. So we're going to stay with these miners and try to help them out through this location, but again, we are dealing with a heavier base. The base was very much alive, the heavy defenses and the expos and the inferno towers, and we still had to deal with some town hall 9 defenses. But again, we walked away with another million collective amount of loot, and this is what we're looking like right now. So again, if I didn't mention it earlier in the video, we have knocked out 34 pieces of wall at 2 million apiece. Both gold and elixir have been used, and you'll notice that we have 3 days left on the level 3 miners before we target the heal spell. So I have to pay attention to these upgrades and make sure that I don't spend all of my loot on the walls and associate some or allocate some of the elixir for these other upgrades. We're trying to finish out our barracks for level 12, and we also have one more dark barracks to finish to unlock the miners in that one, as well as the dark spell factory, and we will be completely finished with all of our elixir upgrades for offense. That, if I can remember correctly, I think we will be finished on our offense, and then we can start transitioning into our defense. And that is exactly what we're trying to do. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and put this Barbarian King down one more time to level 27. We will be without him for another 4 days and 11 hours. And that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. This is the method to the madness, and hopefully you were able to get something out of this video today, guys. If you enjoyed the content, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you need any additional video support, click one of those links over there, and we will see you in the next one, guys. Take care.